I think so.
Okay, I'd like to call the special meeting of the Douglas Library Board of Trustees to order. Can we pledge the allegiance to the flag, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America
and to the
and to the
republic
republic
for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I don't know why I have the urge to yell play ball. So. Okay, first thing on the agenda is public comments. Do we have any public here besides the trustees?
Pam's here, but she'll give the Friends report.
Oh, Pam. Okay, Pam, did you have any comments that you wanted to make? Huh?
Oh,
Guess not. Maybe she already left. Okay. All right. Hearing no one asking to make comments, I guess we'll go right into the regular agenda. I don't see. Okay. The first thing will be the approval of the minutes from the 4/10. Wow, that's a long time ago. 2023 meeting. Did anyone have any changes or amendments?
So Catherine, who isn't here tonight, she's coming back from vacation, is going to draw the meetings up based off of the recording.
Mm-hmm.
So at my request, she drew up a little amendment that's the page after page 4, so page 5, to be added to the financial report section, and that just has to do with the discussion that was had regarding LTA compensation in April, and it was just felt that should be a part of the minutes.
Do you happen to have what you requested to have added?
Yep, it's on page 5. Oh,
Page 5.
so if you flip through the minutes on the back, or just after the page 4, it says to be added to the financial report section.
Would someone like to make a motion to amend the minutes to include the sections requested by Mr. Sullivan?
I so move.
May I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, it's discussion. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, I think it was unanimous, wasn't it?
I abstain.
Oh, I'm sorry, MA. Abstentions. MA is abstaining. Okay.
I was absent from that meeting.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so now may I have a motion now to approve the minutes as amended?
I so move.
Do I have a second? No second?
I'll second
Can I
it.
second? I don't know.
I'll second it. This is Sue.
Hi, Sue, thank you. All right, do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Okay, and Ms. Foote has abstained from voting. Okay, and the next item is the financial report.
Okay, so you have a copy of the financial report in your packet. Let me share the screen so it's a part of the video. Okay, not really too much to report here. The town instituted a soft spending freeze in mid-April. So a lot of the accounts haven't been spent down to the last penny as much as I usually like to do. And that was just because we were directed that any unplanned expenses would need to be approved through the finance office as of that date. But I think, we still ended up doing pretty well. We're going to end up well under budget on the part-time payroll, which is something we always knew because we were short-staffed for so much of the year. But materials and most of the important lines will be spent fairly close to what we had budgeted for. Any questions?
And I think I asked, no, I haven't asked this before. This is what was submitted and finally approved as part of the town budget.
No,
This isn't next year's budget. This is the our
Last year's.
current year's budget.
Oh, last year's
as of the
budget,
13th.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I heard that the budget had been approved,
yes.
okay. How hard did we get hit?
Well, we're going to talk about the budget a little later, Pat. on
Okay,
the
sure.
agenda.
My curiosity is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay, library director. Report.
Okay. Okay, so I came back from paternity leave last week. I'm still in and out, helping out with Bear back home when I can. And Claire and Sherry did a wonderful job in my absence. So I want to thank them, and I want to thank the board and the town for supporting me and allowing me to be gone as long as I was. Pat attended.
There was one problem was last month's meeting. It
Yeah,
just-
I heard about that. I'm sorry that didn't go off as hoped. But Pat attended the Hebron Lions Night of Giving in April. So the Lions donated $2,000 to the library, which is fantastic. We thank them for always supporting us, and I hung up their oversized check above the kind of large window when you're walking up to the circulation desk. The big issue in May was that the website and email were very hit or miss for the entire month. There was kind of an interesting scenario that a lot of bad luck kind of in one place, I think, happened. But the company that hosts our domain went out of business at some point last year, and we were never informed. So we were never sent the invoice for renewing the domain. And then we were overdue. And then because we were overdue, they eventually took the domain away from us. And we didn't know anything was wrong at all until all of a sudden the website stopped working. So after a lot of struggle with the company, because there were several misunderstandings along the way, and the domain was temporarily sold to a third party, Donna managed to secure everything and get everything back and up and running. But the bad part was just that, patrons, when the website was up and running, it was a little bit outdated. So there was some information missing and it couldn't be edited. And there are likely a lot of emails that just are completely lost. Anything that was sent to the douglaslibrary.org domain during that time never made it anywhere else. So essentially my email address was the only one that could receive anything. So hopefully, we kind of hope that everybody found their way through phones or eventually has resent their requests since everything came back up a couple weeks ago. But we don't know that for sure. But I want to especially thank Donna for putting a lot of effort into getting this back up and running. This was a very frustrating issue that I was happy to be absent for.
Kevin,
Yes.
that didn't affect our online services at all.
Yes and no. If people are using the library our website to access our online services and it happens to be down, they don't know where to get the link to, so they can't access them. All those services were available. They just maybe weren't able to get them at the time they wanted to. When the website was back up, though it was slightly out of date, it still had the links, I think, for everything that we pay for. So yeah, a little bit of disruption to service, but not too terrible.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Summer reading program kicks off on Monday, and that'll continue through the end of August. We have programs for adults, teens, and children. Adult and teen is a bingo card based program where you complete a series of activities, and once you have a 5 in a row, you come in for a small prize. You have to spin our prize wheel, and then when you fill out the entire bingo sheet, you get entered in the grand prize drawing at the end of the summer, which will be for a large gift card usually. And the children's program is a program where they get a small prize for visiting every week, and they get stamps and Tootsie Pops, and then they also earn prizes for reading materials. So that's always fun, and we look forward to that starting back up. So I ended up not representing the library at the Juneteenth event over on Saturday. I wrote this when I assumed the event would go off without a hitch. But the Juneteenth event that Code was putting on, they decided to cancel because of the impending thunderstorms. So we offered our community room to them, and they brought in a scaled down program into the space for the afternoon. I thought it was a big success for what it was. I know that there was a lot of it was a very hard decision for them to make. They put a lot of effort into planning it. But seems like it worked out pretty well. And I know that Dale was there. I know that MA saw some of it. So hopefully y'all had a good experience there. Part-time staffing issues mostly smoothed out. We hired an additional LTA right before I left in April, Heather Tobe. She's doing very well by all reports. Haven't actually had a chance to meet her yet since the interview. John Dartry retired at the end of May, which is a big loss for us. He was really wonderful at the desk. But his hours have been absorbed by other staff. They have a lot more availability during the summer with school being out. So we're pretty much fully covered at the desk, and we'll just have to evaluate again in the fall to see if it's going to be necessary to hire one more individual, or whether we'll be okay with the current roster. I think we'll probably be fine with the current roster. Seed library was a big hit in April. Just about all the seeds that were donated were taken home by community members. So that's something they're going to try and do in the future. And children's story time's on hold for the summer while they're focusing resources on the summer reading program. Moving on to the building report. The roof replacement project is just about finished. Looks really good up there, and we can tell they've kind of scaled the work back the past couple of days, the amount of workers that are here. Young Developers, the company doing it, has been very responsive and sensitive to the needs of the library. Every time we ask for something, they're very quick to kind of get it for us. So we've been very happy with that relationship. And the town building committee has just been doing a good job as well, keeping us informed. So there's been a weekly Wednesday meeting just to check in, and that's been very valuable to us. Couple small notes. We're very overgrown inside the fence area in terms of like shrubs and grass and everything. So we're gonna have to get Parks and Rec out as soon as we're able to get it all trimmed up and looking nice for the rest of the summer.
I think there's another group, Michelle Cinco has put out a thing about weeding and so forth and getting.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, Michelle generally takes care of like the center bed, the Green Garden Gang. So yeah, that's also actually the plants there look really good because they keep up with the weeds and everything better. So they've just kind of bloomed, and for them, those don't need as much help as the little area near like the delivery entrance. Like those bushes and stuff are really overgrown. That's right. I forgot Michelle. Michelle will be doing work as well, I'm sure. Also had some issues with the AC being turned off for a couple of days. They had to remove the AC unit from the flat area of the roof to be able to put down materials underneath it. And that just meant that the third floor in particular was very, very hot for a couple of days, and so hot that one Friday afternoon they closed the building a little bit early. It was pushing 80 up there, and it was just becoming an unsafe environment for individuals to work in. The window project is very nearly complete. We finally received that last window. I have it right behind my desk over here. So I left a message with Pierce Construction to get it installed. I'm not sure when he's going to make it over, but that's usually a very quick thing. And the roofing company just said that it shouldn't be any issue if he wants to just do it while they're still there. So looking forward to checking that one off the list. That one's been waiting for this one window for a year and a half.
Yay.
The flood damaged carpet in the reading room has been replaced, but they didn't put the baseboard trim back on when they replaced the carpet with the carpet squares. I think it's because even though we have some baseboard trim, it doesn't match what was around the rest of the room. We have like a dark blue one, which kind of matches the carpet, and the rest of it is a light gray. So I need to get a hold of that company and just figure out when that can be installed. They also need to come in and do some work on the kitchen floor that we're still kind of contending with. It's still quite sticky, and some of the glue that's seeping up, but that's seeped up between the planks dries and makes it a little bit difficult to walk on. That was something that they were supposed to take care of when they were here before, and I think it just slipped through the cracks. I got a quote for the electrical work to install the exterior Wi-Fi units. And because we had the spending freeze, it's something that we have to wait for the new fiscal year to begin the work on. So hopefully we can get that going in July. And actually, that's something that he may end up running some wires through the area where the baseboard wasn't installed. So it might end up being an advantage that that wasn't put up just yet. Also planning on getting the building pressure washed once the roof is complete. And the mini split air conditioner installed in the vault section of the building isn't functioning. So just some moisture buildup down there. It's not particularly too hot, but it's more concern about the book sale books that are stored in that area. We had thermodynamics come by and take a look, and they say it's an electric issue. So I'm going to see if they can take a look at that when they come in to maybe begin the install on the air conditioning work. And I also included a graph of just some of the gate counts, circulations, and library cards added over the past couple of months. Statistics are, relatively in line with where they are in April and May, which are always a big drop off after March with all the Maple Fest numbers. They've also been a little bit lower. I've just heard that it's been very, very slow with all the scaffolding outside. I think it's scaring some people away. It's a long walk to get in the building. It's all very understandable. And also, a lot of people are just missing the gate counter when they're coming in because sometimes they're entering through the rear doors. Sometimes they're just not, using that single lane as much as they normally do. But, still a reasonable amount of circulation and visitors and library cards added. It doesn't look too different from years past. So that's pretty good news. And that's the end of my report, unless anybody has anything they'd like me to expound upon.
No comments, questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the Friends of the Douglas Library.
No, she's not here.
Pam, you're still in here, I can see. I'm just gonna see if I can ask her to unmute.
She there?
Yeah, she's on the list. And she's on
Okay.
the grid here, but
Well,
probably yelling at her iPad or phone or whatever and can't get it to work quite right. Sorry, Pam.
shall we table that item until she's available?
Sure. Oh, wait, she's unmuted now. Pam, are you
Oh,
there?
okay. Pam? We cannot hear you, Pam. I don't know what to say. God, I love electronics.
Well, if everything gets working, yeah, we can untable and return.
Yeah. Okay, Pam, you're being tabled until we can figure out if you're there. Town manager representative is on vacation, correct? Okay. Board of Selectmen representative's not here. And I'm the chairperson, and I do not have anything to report, except I'm really glad you're back, Kevin.
Thanks, Matt.
We missed you. Okay. Does anyone have any more reports? Hearing no other comment, we shall move on to old business. And the first item is the challenge material policies.
Okay. So we've got a couple of policies that we spoke about February's meeting and in March's meeting that we made a couple of changes to. So, actually, I'm doing this out of order a little bit. I got the packet out of order. So just speaking about the challenge materials policy, we'll have to flip a couple pages in the packet, and then when we get to
Mhm.
policy review number 4, we can flip back unless you want to.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So flipping over to policies part 3, the collection development policy. So you have a copy here of the marked up areas, and all of the red has been what's added. So we spoke about this at the March meeting, and the majority of the discussion revolved around the request for reconsideration policy. So I took some of the input from that meeting, and I tried to rewrite the policy in a way that I thought hit those marks. I know that Pat, since I sent the packet out, she gave me a little more feedback and some more suggestions on ways that we can tighten up the policy a little bit further. Pat, do you want to talk about those at all, or is that something you'd just like to?
No, what I was thinking was, the discretion is with the librarian. However, people like to have some sort of process to go above someone else's head. So I thought that maybe the Board of Trustees should have some sort of involvement, not necessarily in the light of an appeal, but as a review. And our review, as I talked to Kevin, would be basically to make sure that Kevin followed the procedures, that he used the materials that, for recommendations for working on collections and selecting books. And it would look like that there's an appeal. And basically all we would be doing would be saying, oh, Kevin, please tell us that you followed the procedures, and he will respond appropriately. And also look to, in case he's completely winged out and has been arbitrary and capricious, which is a very high standard. So even though it looks like we have a review and an appeal, his discretion is basically untouched. As long as he follows the rules and doesn't do anything absolutely nuts, there's not going to be any room for us to overturn any of his decisions. So I think that might take some of the pressure off Kevin if there really is a group of people or an organized group of people who are trying to cause chaos in the library, which seems to be happening a lot lately.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. So this would be our backup for him. And, Kevin would be responsible for sending the appeals to us if somebody wants a reconsideration or wants a review for the board. So I doubt this will happen, but it probably will. Now I think about it. But we need to be prepared for challenges which are going on all around us right now in all the different libraries in the state. So we've been very fortunate so far that we haven't had any problems, but it's the month for it though, So we'll have to see what happens now. But that was my main suggestions to Kevin in making the changes to involve the board in that type of process.
Sounds reasonable.
But I don't want to, again, take away his discretion. He's a professional, he knows his job. So, but we do have to have some sort of political input or place that people can go to complain. And after they complain to us, of course, they'll probably go to the selectman or to the town manager. That would be the next step. But I think, we'll have a two-step process that we can present to the selectman and to the town manager that we followed. So, it will have a little bit more teeth to it, I'm hoping. Okay. So I'm sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
I don't have anything additional. I think Meg, were you saying something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think that's smart.
I agree. I think that seems very reasonable, and I like that provides a little bit more protection for the director as well.
Yeah, and they can blame us, and that's fine. But again, it's appearances more than anything else. And if we saw Kevin running around with his little hat on and his rabbit suit, we would look at it more carefully.
Probably fair.
Okay.
Okay, so that's challenge materials policy. We can get back to the policy review when we get down to there on the agenda, and we'll take a look at the other ones there.
Well, I see that you included the language already, pretty much.
Yeah, this is based off of what we spoke about before. So I can add a couple of additional things to maybe lock it down a little bit further.
Yeah,
But right, it's yeah, essentially we're just looking to make sure that the materials were acquired using the collection development policy, which was developed with the standards set in place by the American Library Association. And as long as they were acquired using that path, then the content of the material isn't important. It's the fact that we follow the policy.
exactly. And then Kevin, all you have to do is make some sort of checklist for yourself that you followed the policy.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't have to be particularly detailed, but enough that you have some sort of evidence. Yes, I followed the policy. And so it has an automatic record keeping. I know I'm adding more work to you, but. And also, one of the other things we discussed, was there anything that you could give to patrons about the ALA selection process, what their policies were, or the reading policies that you could use to hand off to somebody if there's a challenge?
It'd be very easy to print those out. We actually we have a couple of the ALS statements as part of our policy manual already. I think we have like the right to read and the Patron's Bill of Rights already in the appendices of our policy manual. So if there's anything we want to add, it's easy enough to add.
Yeah, I was thinking, having a packet of things to hand somebody if they do complain.
Sure. The
Those
complaint,
couple
yeah.
pages, yeah.
These are the things that we follow. Take a look in the manual here. We can print
Yeah.
these out for you if you'd like to take them home and review them. And then if not, we will get you a copy of that statement of concern about library materials, so we can begin the review process.
Right. And you have the forms for the challenges, right?
Yes, we have the current ones that we're using. Those can always be tweaked, but that's not really a part of the policy manual. It would just be a worksheet kind of later.
Yeah.
We can go
And,
over.
if you give people materials to read and other things, they take a few minutes to go read or think about it, and slows down their process.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's right. Okay, so I think we're done with this agenda item. There's no action. I'll just make a few more changes and hopefully we can go forward with it the next meeting.
Do we have to present this to the selectman or the town manager, or is this something that's just internal?
It's just internal. The library board oversees the policies for the library. So all you got to do is
Okay.
approve it and they're approved.
Okay. I don't think this is anything that we need to run by the town attorney either. I mean, it's not really anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Moving right along. Oh, you were going to go back to, you were taking stuff out of order?
Well, we could just move forward. If MA would like to talk about the poet laureate, that's fine. We'll get through these and we'll get back to the other items.
Okay. So then, should I move on to poet laureate?
I can hardly wait to talk about that. We had that meeting. It was a wonderful meeting at the beginning of April Fool's Day. About 10 local poets attended. It was really a special meeting for anyone who was there. Since then, we received one application for a person who would like to be Hebron's Poet Laureate. And I'm looking for direction as to proceeding with that. He's absolutely the right person for the job, no question. But I'm also wondering if it might be nice to have another little informal meeting of our local poets first. Get them all together before we appoint a poet laureate, a Hebron laureate. And from then on, let that person direct the meetings, call them, whatever. So I believe I sent out to everyone. I know I sent our various forms, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to remember. I don't know if did I send out the application from Larry Zimmerman?
I don't
I
recall.
I don't recall it, but I'm looking right now through my email to see if I missed it and you were spammed. I don't see it.
All right, then I will send that out to everyone. But in the meantime, what would people think about having another poets meeting, a poet circle, shall we say?
It sounds,
Prior, sometime this summer prior to appointing our poet laureate.
I think that would be an excellent idea. And if you could get his application to us, that would be great. So yes, is that something you need to work out with Kevin?
Oh, well, as far as picking a date and a time and a location, but
Yeah,
that's no big deal.
okay. And then,
But I would like to hear from the Poet Laureate Committee, that would be Gail, it would be Althea, and it would be, who is it, Anne? Is Anne there?
Anne had expressed some interest in helping out at the April meeting, I believe, but I don't know that she's officially a part of the committee. But I think she's probably welcome to be if she'd like to be.
Is she
Okay.
there tonight since I
She's
can't
here,
see?
yeah.
I am here. I am here, and I'm not officially involved yet, but I will be glad to help.
Sounds good.
then you two need to get together and do some chit chatting. Yeah, I think that would be an excellent idea. And Emma, when were you thinking about doing the appointment and how would that be done?
That would be up to the committee, and we have not met yet regarding that.
Okay,
And, maybe at one of well, if we had a live meeting, it would be wonderful.
yeah,
Um,
I know it might be interesting to have its own meeting rather than burying it in our meeting. Because nobody reads our meetings. But if it was a special announcement, that might go over further too. And we could
Having
have
it at what
Malcolm-
meeting?
if we did it not joined with our meeting, but with a special announcement, a little reception type thing, maybe.
Yeah, going live.
Yeah, I mean, and have it at the library and invite people and have milk and cookies or what are we doing these days? And wine and cheese, milk and cookies? I don't even know.
Wine and
I think, and maybe publicize it a bit.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah. I think this is
that
something that would
part.
be
But
good.
I want to talk to Anne and Althea and Gail before we move forward, because I'm not just making all these decisions.
Okay,
This poet laureate should be a pretty big deal. I mean, it truly brings poetry to the town, of which there's not too much. And we'll get it into the schools and we'll have it, it's, I think it's a pretty big deal. And this person, when you read his resume or whatever, you'll see why I say he's perfect.
okay. I saw in the River East that another town had a poet laureate. I mean, it actually
Well,
was in the
that's
River East.
Andover.
Yeah. So we should have something, find out. I think they had an award ceremony, they had actually a ceremony, which it looked very interesting. So we'll put it in your capable hands, Ms. Foote.
Well, I'm not going to copy Andover. I think we can come up with our own special plan.
No, I would not copy Andover. I mean, but even for their size, I thought they did a nice little job. So, but we can do better.
Yep.
Of course we can. Okay.
Yep. We'll talk about it. And also, I just sent myself a note to send out the resume, Larry's resume.
Thank you so much for that. Did anyone else have any comments about the poet laureate? Okay, now we move on to the budget.
Okay. I do not have the budget as part of the packet. So the town budget was approved. It failed the first time around at referendum and then was approved last Tuesday. So I believe we're going forward with everything that was at the town manager's requested budget that was at what we looked at our previous meeting. Between the first referendum and the second referendum, the town, the town section of the budget had to be reduced by, I believe it was $50,000. I'm not 100% sure on the figure. And that, as to my knowledge, hasn't been specified. I haven't heard any inference that it would be coming from our budget or where the plan was. But so I'm operating under the assumption that we will be moving forward with the budget that was part of the town manager's original proposed budget.
We'll know by the next meeting, correct?
Yeah, well, by the next meeting. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, okay. Whether to cry or not. Okay. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Policy
We'll be in
review.
the next,
Excuse
we'll
me.
be in the new fiscal year by the next meeting.
right.
You, Kevin, could you send us out like a little email congratulating yourself that we got what you asked for?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Would that help?
Well, I think we have to wait until the selectmen meet and make any
Well,
decision.
yeah, when Kevin gets the word,
Right.
then he'll let us know. So.
I'll
the
let you
official
know.
word.
Yeah, I think
The
no news is
official word.
probably good news, but yeah.
Okay. Let's see, we did the policy review already, right?
Well, the policy, this is a
Oh,
different.
sorry,
policy
this is
review.
the circulation one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is another policy that we spoke about in April, and there were a couple of changes that were requested. So in your packet, the green area is the new addition to the policy. So let's share that. So this had to do with fines and fees and just clarifying the difference between the two. So the new verbiage reads. So now there's a subheading for overdue fines.
Mhm.
It's the responsibility of the borrower to know the due date of all items checked out. Borrowing privileges are suspended if there is an overdue item for which the replacement cost has been assessed or a fine has accrued in excess of $5. Prompt payment of overdue fines, replacement costs, and processing fees for lost materials is expected. No refunds of any of these charges will be made if lost item is found after payment. No overdue fine will exceed the cost of the item. So there's that, and then there's a separate fee for lost item section, which is what existed before. So it separates out the fees and the fines, so they're both a little more clearly noted.
Mhm.
Then the tables were also just changed around so that the overdue fines are the museum passes, the Wi-Fi hotspots. Those are under overdue fines. And the fees for the processing fees for lost items on top of the cost of the item is this table underneath the fees for lost items.
So that's what we add on to the actual cost, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Did anyone have any questions or comments about this?
I thought it was pretty clear.
I think it's clear, yeah. Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
So we're just ready to, if we wanted to vote on this policy, as proposed, we can accept it, and then I can make the changes, update the website, and then we can move on to the next chunk of policies.
I move
I
we
so
accept.
moved.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Who's moving? Someone moving to?
I did.
accept? Okay,
Yeah.
As written at this point?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion regarding the policies at this point for this particular draft? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. Okay, it's all yours, Kevin.
Okay, just misplaced where I put my agenda. I think we are talking about staff compensation.
Staff compensation plan, yeah.
Okay. So this is a continuation of the discussion that that Sue had brought up at our last meeting. Part of, and Sue, feel free to chime in whenever you like, but we've been trying for the last several budget cycles to increase the compensation, particularly of our the part-time staff at the circulation desk. With the increase in minimum wage, any space that was between them and minimum wage previously is now gone. And then we're also a bit lower than we are than the average of other libraries in the state and in the area. So in your packet on the last page, there's a list of compensations for LTA 1s, LTA 2s, LTA 3s, and MLS librarians. So for LTA 1s, for Hebron, they start at $15 an hour. The Region 3 average, which is kind of just our area of the state, the average is $16.53, and statewide it's $17.34 for starting. And LTA 2s are starting now is $16.43. Average for Region 3 is $17.83, and the statewide average is $19.15. So we've had a lot of turnover, and we had a difficulty filling some of those staff positions over the past year, really. I would attribute part of that to us compensating lower than a lot of surrounding towns, and it's just it would be helpful, I think, as a department to just have a staff that we can expect to stick around longer, know the job better, and I think the way to do that is to compensate them, a little bit more than what they're currently being compensated for. And honestly, if you look at the descriptions, there's an LTA 3 rank as well as the LTA 1 and LTA 2. The responsibilities our staff take on are more in line with the 2s and 3s than just the 1s. So I think in some ways they could even be classified differently. But at minimum, I think it would be great to get ourselves to push to get ourselves up or above the Region 3 average. And that way, when we're competing for people in the same area, at least we're roughly on the same level.
Well, especially now that the minimum wage is $15.
Yeah.
You're asking someone to have a lot of responsibility for the same price that someone can work at McDonald's.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a professional job. It takes a lot of different types of knowledge, maybe just beyond just customer service. You deal with technology, you're dealing with sensitive information. You need to be responsible for a building, and you're just kind of the front line of the town too. You're the person that people see that works for the town, and you need to be representing both the library and the town every time somebody speaks with you. So it's a lot of responsibility, and yeah.
And may I add that they do a wonderful job. Every single one who's at the desk, whenever I walk in, they're friendly, they're helpful, they'll go above and beyond. They know their jobs. They're good.
True. They're all very, very pleasant
Absolutely.
to deal with.
So I guess, I think we're all on the same page that this is something that's important to the board. The difference is just that this has been something we've requested the last several budget cycles, and it's something that gets stripped out pretty quickly in the first round when the town is working to kind of hit a specific percentage to bring before the Board of Finance or the Board of Selectmen. So if it's something that's important to us, we may just need to take a slightly different tact, and it may just be on the board to just make sure that that town officials and, politicians are aware of how you feel about it, and that it's something that maybe is noticed if it gets taken away.
Okay.
Well,
That would be my
I
opinion.
still-
Go ahead, Sue. Sorry.
Sorry. I think a lot of people don't understand everything that's involved with their jobs. They walk in the building, they think, oh, all they do is process the books, put them back in the stacks. All they have to do is be pleasant. They don't really have any training. I think that's still the perception of a large part of the population that comes in here. So I don't know. Do you have any suggestions on how we could modify that?
We could certainly make up well, I don't know how to modify it for the general perception of the public. I know that if we wanted to present it to somebody in power, we could certainly write up a brief list of like, these are the things they're responsible for doing. Kind of put together an elevator speech
Mhm.
that the
Just
quip
pull-
And
if
not
you wanted to
just
go out.
that, a letter to the River East, which includes all of the above.
That's
That
not a
would
bad
get out
idea
to
at
the
all.
general public.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Absolutely.
I was gonna say also, does the Friends of the Douglas Library have a Facebook page or a Facebook account?
They do, yeah.
Because I don't know who runs that, but that could always be something to, if you put a letter in the River East, that hits one part of the population. If you, just put like, I run the social media account for 2 organizations, one for my job and one in town. And just having little like, hey, did you know, with like a picture of somebody's face, something like that, that's easily shareable, and there'll be there's a percentage of the population that is on Facebook and uses that and would see that. So maybe just hitting up several different avenues of hey, fun fact about the person at the library kind of thing.
Sure,
Hmm.
yeah, the Friends, the
And
association.
Kevin, could a person be featured in the newsletter? One of the staff members?
Yeah, they could absolutely be featured in the newsletter. I don't think there would be very many volunteers, but there's no reason they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Every time they get their photo in there, they're usually not happy with me.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe not a photo, but just an interview of words.
Yeah,
Or even something of them working really hard,
Mhm.
not just a face. So I think that's an excellent idea. Is there anything else we can do as a board, Kevin, at this point?
I think it's just something we want to be organized about, and particularly once it gets closer to, November, December, January, when those decisions are really being made. Because
Okay.
for whatever reason, it's us just asking
But-
for it and writing a letter to the town manager's office isn't
Doesn't
getting us past the
Doesn't
first.
get us very far.
Yeah.
But it would be nice for them to know that we appreciate them, no
True.
matter what time of the year.
Right.
Excellent. Excellent point. Because we do.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, this place would not run without them at all. They're amazing.
Okay, that's the staff. Okay, moving on to the strategic plan committees. Do we have anything from,
We don't have anything for oversight. I don't know if any, none of the committees I'm on have met, to my knowledge, at least without me. So I don't know if any of the other ones have.
I haven't met with anyone. Has anyone else?
I've met with Claire about the welcoming.
Oh, that's
Okay.
fantastic.
And we talked about how welcoming the library is, as you go up the stairs, what events are taking place. There's just a lot of signage. And the staff is very welcoming. And Claire and I both felt that there was nothing we really needed to do at the moment.
Okay. When will the work be done, Kevin? Do you know, for the roof?
They believe it'll be done by the end of the month. I don't know if that means everything will be cleaned up and it'll be as normal, or if just the roof will be done and they'll have to take the fence down later, but that's the indication is they'll be done before the end of the month.
Are we going to have a grand reopening?
Oh, we weren't closed, so probably not.
How about, I don't know, grand reveal or something?
Sure. I'll have them put some tarps over the roof.
What's the big thing outside of the fire department where they're like, there's a referendum, or like drug take back day? It'll be like,
Yes.
go visit the library. The roof is done.
Take a look at this roof.
We
Yeah.
can get, I'm sure the fire department will do that.
Even if just for like, I don't know.
See the
weekend.
roofs or something. I'm sure
That's
they
kind of a cute
will.
idea. I kind of like it.
Library roof is done. Come visit.
And the windows, if you can get that last window in.
Come visit the second floor bathroom and peer through our final window.
Okay. Is there anything else that we need to bring up? The next
Well, you've
meeting
only
is,
gotten,
yes.
wait a minute, you've only gotten as far as welcoming. You've got some more committees.
Do we have any reports from the committees?
Well, for Integral, I think just the fact that we were so friendly and invited Juneteenth, and that was, we reached out to the town with that one.
Are you on that
I-
committee,
it's
Emma?
not-
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
Well, I don't know what integral means, but I'm assuming that, integrated between the town and the library itself and whatever groups.
Okay. You could
Library.
actually
Oh, I mean,
include that in
that's-
welcoming too, if you wanted to.
Yes.
Well, you could, but I'm not on that committee.
Okay. A report for safe. And evolving. Well, basically, that's the poet laureate, which is evolving. So anyway,
Oh, that does- not-
okay.
Yeah,
Any
there's-
other?
That could also be integral, depending on what the poet laureate does. You're,
Well, basically, the poet laureate is basically almost all of them, if you think about it. So
maybe not safe.
they have more responsibility than they know. Okay.
One of my friends is the poet laureate for Glastonbury, or she was for a year, and she would write like a poem for the graduates each year at Glastonbury High School. And when there would be events for the town, she would write a poem for that event, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think with the poet laureate for Hebron, it would be integral.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Yeah,
Well,
I
thank you
think
for
maybe
reviewing.
the poet
I like
laureate
that.
wrote a poem for our roof being done.
Mhm.
No, I'm
Oh,
not kidding.
Well, we don't
I-
have a poet laureate yet,
Mhm.
right?
We don't have a roof yet either. So. 'Cause,
Oh,
yeah,
yes, we do.
well, not completed yet, so maybe we could do, that would be something the poet laureate could do. Or maybe even a poem for Kevin and Bear.
I'll take it.
Okay, does anyone else have any business they want to talk about or that we missed in the meeting?
We actually can't add anything new because it's a special meeting.
Yeah, I don't think there's, I think we went through all the items, I believe.
Yep, right, Pam isn't on the list anymore, so I think she didn't get everything fixed, so we're not circling back around to that, so I think we're good.
Okay, so that's it then. Okay, and our next official meeting is on July 10th?
Mm.
Okay. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
I so move.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you,
Mhm.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Meg, thank you for writing that in the chat. I meant to bring that up, but
Oh, yeah.
I noticed New York Bank Yankees in the background. Is there